Oh, bitch, the motherfucking money is here. Oh, bitch. Oh, fuck that. The motherfucking money is here. Bitch, I want me a T-bone steak from Waffle House, bitch. With eggs and grits and... Yes, Lord. Come on, baby. The motherfucking money is here. Bitch, go get a T-bone steak and just feed it.
Ladies, may we get a word?
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass. With your broke ass.
Okay, so that refund hit, the energy shifts, and then the spending gets started. And for a moment, life feels like an upgrade, right? Like new bags, new trips, new shoes, new hair. Y'all know y'all getting them roll bundles, okay? The nails done, kids get new shoes, and by the summer, you're broke again. And this is not a judgmental video. This is a strategy video for my rich babes, okay? Like what you are watching right now is called luxury poverty. Like you look rich, you feel rich, but your bank account never changes. And tax season can change your life, but most people use it to maintain the same one. And let's talk about it. All right, my loves, make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. And I'll be back at the end with my full commentary.
I just got my taxes today. You want to guess what I'm eating?
That's so fun.
A fucking hot dog. Cause y'all bitches not finna get all my money. Nope, I'm gonna let that shit last for as long as that shit can last. I can't do it.
I see a lot of people on here bragging about how they're getting like 9K, 10K back from their tax refund. And I can guarantee that more than half of you will most likely still be in the same position you were before you got the tax refund. So what is there to really brag about when you literally not going to do anything to upgrade yourself? Then make it make sense.
My wealthiest clients drive shitty cars. Think about that. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah. I'm a realtor here in Baltimore. I work with a plethora of different types of clients, but let's talk about the really wealthy ones, the ones that are buying multiple properties a year. Maybe they have investments, maybe they just have multiple homes. They pull up in 2008 Honda Accord. They drive Toyotas. They wear very simple clothing. They don't care what you think of them, and that's why they're wealthy. The more you are able to sacrifice your short-term desire to look wealthy, wearing the clothes, having the expensive apartment, driving the fancy car, and financing those things, the more it will pay off in the long run.
76% of all luxury goods are bought by poor people. 76. When I heard the data, I couldn't process it. I'm like, no, this can't be true. It's not just poor working middle class people are striving. My point is it's not purchased by the wealthy. That's my point. When you go look at the Louis Vuitton store and look who's in line during COVID and the lockdown, you saw the line. That was not wealthy people. It was us.
That's right.
Right. We're aspiring. No difference why somebody wants a Coca-Cola or they want an iPhone. Right. We got $2,000 iPhones. Don't have $2 in our bank account.
Please get us Black people as a whole out of the chokehold of believing that buying and having designer makes us more valuable. 70% of Americans are living from paycheck to paycheck, so you think you're actually going to impress me with a designer bag that you bought off of scammer money, that you purchased on a credit card?
Maturing is realizing that you no longer need these boxes. I no longer need them. And it's time for me to let them go.
You fucking the brand up. You're not building the brand. You're fucking the brand up, but you want to be the CEO.
Okay, so here's the real reality check, girl, because every single year it's the same story. You work, you get paid, you spend, and you repeat. And the crazy part, nobody questions it. Like, you just get the money and immediately start thinking about where it's going to go, not how it's going to grow, right? And that cycle keeps you dependent on the next check, the next refund, the next opportunity, the next blessing, okay? So instead of of building something that actually pays you consistently. And just let me say this clearly, all right? A lump sum does not create wealth, right? Direction creates wealth, right? Money itself does not change your life, but strategy does, okay? Most of us were never taught the strategy, so it's not really our fault. However, right? We were just taught how to survive. Why do we self-sabotage? Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable you feel when you actually have money sitting in your account? Like, really be honest, girl. Like, you get the little jitters, you get the refund check. Okay, you see the comments, okay, but instead of feeling peaceful, you feel restless. You start thinking, I need to do something with this. I deserve something. I should spend something, right? Why? Because a lot of us, right, our nervous system is wired for survival and not stability, right? So if you grew up watching money disappear, if you grew up in chaos, if bills were always stressful, peace feels unfamiliar, and therefore unfamiliar feels unsafe. So having money just sitting there, right, that feels wrong to your body. So what do? You subconsciously get rid of it. You spend it so you can go back to your normal zero. And for a lot of people, okay, normal is the struggle, right? Normal is figuring it out. Normal is scrambling. Normal is being at zero. Like, your body can really get addicted to that stress. Like, it feels familiar, and we love familiarity, all right? So if you literally spend money to return to the stress level that you're comfortable with, that's financial trauma. I know. I know. Like, what? I know. And until you fix that, no refund, no bonus, no lottery wins will save you. Okay, no child support, nothing, because you will always reset yourself back to zero. This is deeper than just money. Most people don't invest their refund because they don't see themselves as builders. They see themselves as consumers. Consumers spend to feel elevated. Builders invest to become elevated. Okay, that's a huge difference. Huge. So if you have always lived in survival mode, your brain treats money as temporary, right? It says, I'll use it now, right? I'll upgrade now. I'll enjoy it now, because deep down it doesn't believe more is coming. And that's scarcity conditioning. Scarcity makes you prioritize appearance over the ownership. You want proof you're doing well, right? We all do, okay? Proof that you made it, proof that you're not struggling anymore. So what do people buy, right? You already know. Like, people buy things that they can see, logos, trips, upgrades, but real wealth, that's the invisible, right? And that invisibility needs to be first. And that's the part that most people cannot handle. They don't want to look like they're still building. They don't want to feel behind. They don't want to say, oh, I'm investing instead of vacationing. So they perform wealth instead of constructing it. Okay, like think of your money like a thermostat, all right? We all have a internal number that we are comfortable with. And for some people, that number is 500. For some, it's 5,000. And others, it's 50,000. So hear me out. When you drop below that, you panic, you hustle, and you fix it. But here's what nobody tells you, all right? When you go above it, your brain panics. This is too much. This isn't me, right? I don't belong here. So you cool yourself back down to whatever that number is that you were comfortable with. You lend money, you create emergencies, you buy things that you don't need. You drag yourself back to that comfort zone of $0 okay? Like, it's easy to wear your money than to actually hold your money, okay? Who am I talking to in the back? Because wearing it gets validation from strangers, and holding it requires validation from yourself. You and your bank are the only ones that know what's in your bank account. Okay. And that's why a lot of rich folks be wearing clothes that is just completely like you wouldn't even know that they're rich because they know that they got money in the bank account, right? But the ones who always got all them loud logos and looking crazy, they the ones, right? They the ones that need validation to say, look at me, look at me. And most people have never really learned how to feel worthy without performing. Okay. You know my saying, I'll see at the top because the bottom is too crowded. And I'm going to explain to you why it's so narrow, right? All right. So spending gives an instant dopamine, right? Investing gives delayed leverage. All right. We talk about that delayed gratification that people just don't even wait for it anymore. You know, like people want the microwave, right? But we need the oven. We need to let it sit for 45 minutes, not not 30 seconds. You get what I'm trying to say? Like we need a discipline. Most people just choose, the dopamine, and a few actually does choose the discipline, and that's why the mountain narrow is at the top. All right. It's not that fewer people want success. It's that few people are willing to look boring for a season or two. Like real luxury isn't a logo. Real luxury is options, girl. Like real luxury is 6 months of expenses saved, walking away from disrespect. Okay, like owning your skills and building income streams, like that is the real luxury. Like you can't buy that at the mall. You gotta build that. Okay, you either use this tax season to reinforce your old identity or fund your new one. You either upgrade the look or upgrade the leverage. Luxury poverty says that, listen, if I look good, that means I'm doing well for myself. Financial leverage, though, it really says I'm building something that pays me. But no one says you got to look crazy, right? Because you could look good with a $20 shirt. You could look good with $40 bundles. I'm just saying, okay? Budget. Budget, because you're building something bigger for the future. And listen, I am just done watching women depend on the refunds and the jobs and the men and the circumstances, right? When we can literally build our own income. You already have the skills, girl. Like you already know things that people will actually pay for. You just don't know how to package it, all right? How to monetize it, how to use YouTube or an AI, right? How to turn like your knowledge into leverage. And that's the gap, right? That's the gap that I had to realize myself when I just had to look back and I say, wait a minute. I'll run into so many women every day and they have so many skills, but they don't know how to leverage it, right? And that's exactly what I am solving. So if you're getting a refund this year, don't let it disappear, girl, right? Use it to change your direction, right? Use it to invest in skills that pay you back. And listen, I'm excited because today I am opening the Rych Society. Yes, the Rych Society and the Rych Print ebook bundle. Okay, I'm so excited about it. This is where I teach women how to turn what they already know into income in 2026. Not motivation, execution, okay? Not no aesthetics, okay, or assets. So if you're serious about building instead of performing, get on the email list now. I open tonight at 6 p.m. and I'm really excited. Like this is so amazing. The link is down in the description box below. We are building leverage. We are building income and options. So I'll see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Until next time, Rych Babes, stay rich. Love you.
You've always on my mind.